Chapter 2. The Demon in the Cradle. They say a mother's love can move mountains, but what happens when that love becomes a weapon? What happens when the arms meant to cradle become the chains meant to kill? 3 months had passed since that miraculous midnight. 3 months of peace in Gokul. 3 months where Yashoda believed her world was complete. She didn't know that miles away, King Kamsa was descending into madness, his spies searching for a boy with skin like storm clouds and eyes far too knowing for an infant. He summoned something sinister. Her name was Putana. She was beautiful beyond imagination, a demoness who killed not with claws but with affection. She would arrive in villages as a holy woman blessing newborns. Mothers would hand over their babies willingly, and Putana would nurse them. Her breast milk was poison. Death delivered through the most sacred act of motherhood. On a warm afternoon, Putana arrived in Gokul. She knocked on Yashoda's door. "May I hold him?" she asked, her voice like honey. Yashoda hesitated but handed over her son. Putana sat beneath a tree and brought Krishna to her breast. This was the moment. This was when death would come. Krishna latched on. Putana smiled. But then something impossible happened. Krishna began to suck with a force that pulled at the very essence of her being. Not just milk, but her life force, her soul, being drawn out through that small mouth. She tried to pull away. She couldn't. His tiny hands gripped her with impossible strength. Putana's beauty began to crack. Her moonlight skin wrinkled and grayed. She tried to scream, but no sound came. The villagers came running and saw the beautiful woman transforming, her body expanding into a towering demon with mottled skin and yellowed fangs. She thrashed wildly, smashing trees and walls, her screams breaking free in awful shrieks. But Krishna remained attached, drinking, draining, utterly calm. The predator had become the prey. Yashoda ran forward, terror overwhelming her, but couldn't reach them. All she could do was watch as the demon was destroyed by an infant. Finally, Putana collapsed with a sound like thunder. And there, lying peacefully on the dead demon's chest, was Krishna, smiling, his tiny fist waving as if he had simply finished a meal. Yashoda snatched him up, checking for injury, but he was perfect. At her distress, as if it were all a game. The villagers stood stunned. Some fell to their knees. Others whispered this was no ordinary baby. But Yashoda just held her son and wept, not understanding, not caring about prophecies. Something had tried to take him, and somehow he was still here. In Mathura, Kamsa's spy returned trembling. Putana was dead. The child lived. A 3-month-old infant had drained the life from one of the most feared demons in existence. He had smiled while doing it. Kamsa sat very still. Then he began to laugh. Not with joy, but realizing the full scope of his nightmare. This wasn't just a child. This was something far more dangerous. And so, he began making new plans, terrible plans. Plans that would send nightmares into Gokul, one after another, each more horrifying than the last. In Gokul, Yashoda sang a lullaby as Krishna drifted to sleep. She didn't know the demon was just the beginning. She didn't know her peaceful village was about to become a battlefield. She didn't know that loving this child meant watching him face death over and over again. All she knew was that tonight he was safe. Tonight he was hers. But somewhere in the darkness, something ancient and monstrous was already beginning its journey toward Gokul. Something that wouldn't try to trick its way inside. something that would simply tear the Wivil apart. And Kron arrived, no mother's love would be enough to stop it. The storm is coming, and it has teeth. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe for more chapters on Lord Krishna. Thank you.